Only one human was kind to an alien vampire woman, and received an offer. Beginning. The mining colony on Vela, for was no place for compassion. The planet was a cold and jagged rock circling a dying red sun, filled with cavernous mines where humans toiled alongside alien contractors. It wasn't glamorous work. It wasn't safe work. It wasn't even meaningful work. But it paid, and for many humans escaping overcrowded Earth, that was enough. Dorian Kane had been on Vela for almost 2 years, and already he felt his soul wearing thin. Every day was the same, endless shifts in the tungsten mines, machines breaking down, supervisors barking orders, and the tension between humans and aliens rising like the acrid mist from the planet's sulfur pools. The aliens, dozens of species brought together by the consortium, weren't hostile, but they weren't friendly either. Work made everyone suspicious of each other. But one alien in particular drew every eye, every whisper, every ounce of hatred the colony had to spare. Her name, translated into human speech, was Salira. She belonged to a species from the Rim, called the Noctirii, pale-skinned, sharp-eyed beings whose elongated canines made the comparison inevitable. The humans called them alien vampires, and the name stuck. They lived on plasma-based sustenance, required very little solid food, and had a disturbing way of watching humans with hunger barely restrained. Dorian had seen it firsthand. Salira kept mostly to herself, working silently in the lower levels of the mines. But when she passed by in the corridors, the other humans would shrink away, muttering slurs under their breath. Leech, they'd hiss. Parasite. Corpse lover. She never responded. She never fought back. She just walked on, tall and elegant, her silver-black hair cascading like liquid night, her crimson eyes dimmed with exhaustion. One night, after a 16-hour shift, Dorian saw something he couldn't ignore. A group of miners had cornered Salira in the docking bay. Their voices carried sharp with cruelty. "You think you belong here, freak?" one spat. "Sucking on blood packs like some kind of ghoul while the rest of us break our backs?" "Bet she dreams of draining us dry in our sleep," another sneered, pushing her shoulder. Dorian froze at first. He knew better than to intervene. Everyone knew better. The colony supervisors turned a blind eye as long as it didn't escalate into murder. But as he saw the third man raise a mining drill in mock threat, something inside him snapped. Enough. Dorian's voice rang out, cutting through the jeers. The men turned, scowling. "Stay out of it, Kane. This ain't your business." But he stepped forward anyway, placing himself between Salira and the miners. "Back off," he growled. "You've had your fun. Now leave her alone." There was a long silence. One of the men spat on the ground, muttered something about sympathizers, and finally they dispersed. Dorian turned to Salira, expecting nothing. But she looked at him for the first time, really looked, and there was something in her gaze that unsettled him. Not hunger. Not malice. Something closer to surprise. "You," her voice was low, melodic, like velvet laced with static. "Defended me." He shrugged awkwardly. "Didn't seem fair, that's all." Her eyes narrowed in thought, as if weighing him. Then she said something strange. "Kindness is rare. Remember this moment, human. For one day, you may need me." Dorian laughed it off, but her words stayed with him. Middle. The weeks dragged on. Dorian went back to his routine, but the colony shifted around him. The miners who had seen him defend Salira whispered when he walked by. Some called him a vampire's pet. Others warned him he'd get drained in his sleep. He bore it quietly. After all, what did it matter? He had no real friends here. His only family was light years away. But then, small things began to change. When machinery jammed in the tunnels, Salira appeared at his side, silent but efficient, helping him pry free the gears. When the oxygen filters malfunctioned, she guided him through alternate shafts that only she seemed to know. Once, when a cave-in nearly buried him alive, she pulled him from the rubble with strength that belied her slender frame. "You saved me," he panted, coughing dust. She tilted her head, her lips quirking in the faintest echo of a smile. "We are even." But Dorian didn't feel even. He felt connected. The more he learned about her, the more the colony's prejudice burned in his throat. The Noctirii weren't monsters. They were a people driven from their worlds, scattered by wars the consortium barely acknowledged. Plasma was sustenance to them, no different than bread or water. Salira explained this one night in the mines when they worked side by side. "Your kind calls us parasites," she said softly. "But do you not consume the lives of animals for your survival? Do you not drink from your world until it is dry?" Dorian had no answer. He only knew she was right. The bond deepened, though neither spoke of it openly. But whispers spread faster than tungsten dust. One night, Dorian returned to his quarters to find his bunk ransacked. Words scrawled on the wall in red, "Vamp lover." He clenched his fists, but before he could call it in, the door creaked open. Salira stood there, shadows curling around her like mist. "They will not stop," she said. "Not until you are broken. Or worse." "I can handle it," he muttered. She studied him, then spoke words that changed everything. "You have been kind where others have shown only cruelty. Among my people, such kindness is not forgotten. I can offer you something in return." "What?" he asked warily. Her crimson eyes gleamed. "A choice. To remain as you are, scraping by in the dirt of this colony, or to step into a life far greater. The Noctirii do not forget debts. I can offer you protection, power, even eternity, if you desire it." His heart pounded. You're talking about turning me into one of you." She didn't deny it. Rising conflict. The offer haunted him. Every shift, every whispered insult, every time he tasted dust in his lungs, Dorian thought of her words. Power. Protection. Eternity. He tried to bury the thought. But then the colony erupted into chaos. A pirate fleet descended on Vela 4, raiding 4 Oran slaves. The defense turrets failed within minutes. Explosions lit the skies. Panic tore through the miners. Dorian found himself in the middle of it, running for the docking bay when the pirates cornered them. He saw humans dragged away in chains, aliens slaughtered without hesitation. And then from the shadows, Salira emerged. She moved like smoke, like a nightmare given form. Her claws raked through armor, her eyes flared with crimson fire. Pirates fell one after another, drained in seconds, their bodies cast aside like broken tools. Dorian stared in awe and terror. She wasn't just surviving, she was dominating. But even she couldn't stop them all. The pirates rallied, plasma rifles aimed. Dorian dove for cover, knowing this was the end. Then he felt a hand seize his arm, cold, strong, unyielding. Salira's voice whispered in his ear. "The offer still stands. Choose now, human. Life as prey, or life as predator." Climax. He hesitated only a moment. "I choose," he whispered, "to live." Her fangs pierced his neck in a rush of fire and ice. His vision blurred, his body convulsed, but instead of death, he felt power surge through his veins. Strength. Clarity. Hunger. When his eyes opened again, the world was sharper, brighter. The pirate's heartbeats pounded like drums in his ears. He rose beside Salira, and together they struck. The slaughter was swift. The pirates broke and fled, their ships scrambling into orbit. The colony survived, but nothing would ever be the same. Ending. In the aftermath, whispers turned to silence. The miners who once mocked Dorian now stared at him in fear. His eyes burned crimson now, his skin pale beneath the artificial lights. He was no longer one of them. But he wasn't alone. Salira stood at his side, a silent sentinel. She had given him the gift, or the curse, of her kind. And in doing so, she had bound them together. One night, as the colony rebuilt, she spoke again. "You were the only human who showed kindness when I had none. Now you have been reborn, not as prey, but as kin. Together, we will carve a place where neither of us need bow to cruelty." Dorian looked at the stars beyond the docking bay, endless and waiting. For the first time in years, he felt hope. Perhaps he had lost his old life. But he had gained something greater. And it had all begun with one act of kindness.